Welcome back, everyone. In this lesson, we are going to go ahead and take a look at an introduction to functions. We're going to have several more lessons coming up after this one where we actually work with functions and write our own functions. But there are over 200 functions in SQL Server. Some are aggregate functions, some are string functions, some are metadata functions, some are configuration functions. There are basically tons of these things that are out there. Not every function gets a parentheses. Some of them do, some of them don't. If you look at any particular database and expand it and go to programmability, let me actually go over here and then expand the functions. You can see there's a collection of functions here. I have some table valued functions here. Scalar functions, there's one. Nothing under aggregate. I have a bunch of system functions right here. For instance, I have the aggregate functions which we saw earlier. Count, max, min. We have statistical functions here. There are mathematical functions, for instance, absolute value, arc cosine, arc sine, etc. are right here. There are other functions that are listed right here. As you can see, some of these get parentheses, some of them like add error do not, add identity, which we'll actually look at later. So we have plenty of functions. Some of these add functions, for instance, if I take a look at select add language, if I can do the spelling correctly and execute this, it actually shows you the language is English, for instance. Not everything gets add in front of it, but for instance, let me take a look at the server name. This is another one. And this is my computer's name, as you can see, the server name. We could also do things such as select current user. As you can see, this one doesn't get add and it gets no parentheses. I wish Microsoft would be a little bit more consistent with this, but currently my username is coming out as DBO, which, as you recall, is it's actually prefixing it as the default for the schema right here. There are some functions that, of course, get parentheses. Most of them do, so I can put in get date, for instance. And if I run this by itself, it doesn't like it. But if I put the parentheses in front of it, it's going to get basically today's date. And it says that this is today's date, as you can see. So functions are quite useful. Typically, functions return a value. That's the difference between functions and procedures. We'll have more to say about procedures later, just so in case you probably saw that under programmability, we also have these stored procedures. And we'll take a look at stored procedures and writing our own stored procedures as well. But the difference between a procedure and a function basically is that the function returns a value or can return a value and a procedure does not, generally speaking. Alright, so that's an introduction. We're going to be doing more of these functions in future lessons. If you're enjoying these, please share it with loved ones and friends, and thank you for being a great audience.